Religious change under the Duke of Somerset meant that instead of a Henrician church, religion was moved more in the favour of radical Protestantism. Somerset seemed to be a genuine convert to Protestantism. Religious policy was cautious, though. This is again followed by the moderate Book of Common Prayer written in 1549 by Cranmer, which caused widespread rebellion across the country. It had two key objectives: established a single form of worship, the idea of the Acts of Uniformity, and translated the services into English to enhance many of the key texts. Bishop Gardiner, however, even still thought that this book still accepted transubstantiation, which is something that isn't mentioned in Protestantism. However, a much more radical approach was adopted in many areas. There were a number of injunctions that were passed under Somerset, notably in February 1547, the denunciation of images in London, which reflected radical attitudes by churchmen like Ridley. This was the idea of trying to get rid of iconoclasm. 1547, more injunctions were issued. This attacked many features of Catholicism like lights, images, stained glass, processions, and practices associated with Candlemas, Ash Wednesday, and Palm Sunday. In December 1547, the dissolution of the chantries and religious guilds. The Crown needed the money to pay for the expensive foreign policy in France and Scotland, especially as, although Somerset won the Banter of Pinky Cloth, he's having to pay for a war that he basically has no money for, and chantries and guilds and other brotherhoods were seized by the Crown. This meant a lot of people hated the government because it was an attack on popular Catholicism. A lot of chantries were actually paid for by certain people, and also the other main one is the Book of Common Prayer and the Acts of Uniformity, which were designed to try and streamline worship into a centralised way across the country. The social impact of these religious changes were highly significant because many people didn't like them because there was a continued plundering of the church's resources. The injunctions of 1547 attacked the Catholic practices, and the attack on the chantries and plundering of assets meant that one way of connecting with the dead had gone, and basically many people feared the stripping of the church. But also there was the rebellions, notably the Western Rebellion and Kett's Rebellion, which were partly caused by the Book of Common Prayer, despite the fact it was moderate.